Not long left now. The players are readying themselves for kickoff.
Well, I've just been handed the team sheets. Let's see how they'll line up.
They're playing 3-5-2. This 5-2-1-2 will try and wear down their opponents. It's ideal for counter-attacking football. A cheer goes up as we start the match. Bruno Fernandes. Will he go for glory? The bar's still shaking. What a hit. Pumped into the danger area. Oh, missed opportunity. A poor header. Ah, quality defending there. He's stolen the ball from the goalkeeper.
Is this the moment?
And a goal from Martinez.
Oh, a thoroughly deserved lead. You just knew that was coming.
Now Dumfries. Throw in here. Long throw.
Oh, a chance now to turn defence into attack.
He dribbles the ball forward. Gravenberch with the tackle.
What a well-timed tackle.
Pavlidis. Bastoni with the tackle. Oh, shocking challenge. We may see a lot of cards dished out today, and here's the first. The free kick taker will be Bruno Fernandes. What a goal! Fantastic stuff.
What a fantastic goal. It means a lot to the player and should give him the confidence to grab more.
Akanji's on the ball. He's racing ahead with the ball. He's won the ball back. Acherbi has the ball. Camavinga in possession. It's going to be a drop ball. He's got control of the ball.
What an opportunity! Absolutely brilliant goal.
He's scored a brace. Now DiMarco. He's in control. They've won control of the ball. Headed on.
Martinez. Sommer with an outstanding stop.
Some players will be glad to hear the half-time whistle. I don't think I've ever seen defending this bad. Surely the tie has been decided. And as we come to half-time, it's 3-0. One manager will be happy, the other absolutely fuming.
Well cut out.
Çalhanoğlu. He's confident on the ball. It didn't trouble the keeper. Militao in possession.
Good interception.
Oh, well timed. Bruno Fernandes.
What a chance!
The defender regains possession, and now they're going to try and break. Time for a fresh player to enter the fray. And the header is off target. The fans are demanding more goals. This could turn into a rout.
Oh, well intercepted.
What a chance! Martinez. This team will be glad to see the back of this player as he gets his hat-trick. Carlos Augusto. Allison, fantastic stop.
Lovely passing here. He did well to win the ball back.
Well, you have to say there's not much chance of a comeback here now. Marcus Thuram. And he's won it back for his team. He got that all wrong. Time for a fresh pair of legs here then. Notes are being taken on the touchlines. Will we see some subs introduced?
Really good possession here.
The referee has his work cut out. We're seeing a lot of tackles go in. Saliba with a tackle. We're into time added on now. Acherbi clears it. Their seats, the ref.
The home team has gone with us. Now let's look at the away team.
Here's Aged. He loves to run with the ball. What a chance! Can he beat the goalkeeper and get it on target? It's Bruno Fernandes! A chance to have a better look here. Just a single substitution here. What impact will he have? Gusto in possession. They've won control of the ball. And he's stayed onside. And it's there, Mateus Cunha. And the players have finished celebrating and we're back underway. Chalobah with the ball. Martinez. He's read that one absolutely perfectly. Cucurella. This player's taking charge and moving down the flanks.
What an opportunity!
A strong tackle. They're moving the ball about so well. Aha, quality defending there. João Pedro. He's shaping to shoot.
Stunning save there.
He's won the header. A clean, swift tackle. He's in control. Cucurella wins the tackle. The shot's on. He was off target and the ball only finds the side netting. Gusto in possession. There's a 2-0 deficit at half-time, but that can all change in the second half. So, 45 minutes left of the game. Can the losing team come back from 2-0 down? He's on the move. Now it's Neto. The referee has to do something about it. That was a dreadful challenge. Passed into the box. Cole Palmer. He's taken back possession. He dribbles the ball forward. Martinez. Tries a long shot. Sanchez blocks. So this player will come off and a new one will take to the pitch.
Goodness me, that was close.
He can't miss. And it's there, Cunna. 2 goals today from this exciting player.
Oh, and dispossessed there.
He comes forward with the ball. Bruno Fernandes. Poor distribution from the player. Gusto moving forward. He's got control of the ball. Chalobah with the tackle. He's waiting to pull the trigger. He's done it! What a difference the sub has made. He's scored.
Well, surely all he can do now is grab a consolation goal. There's not much time left, and it seems all over.
Now it's Santos. Uses his strength to win the header.
Oh, well intercepted.
He's moving it around. There was way too much power on that shot. The manager's hoping these substitutes will re-energise his flagging team. Here's Aged.
Well read.
And he's won it back for his team. That wasn't a very good pass. Their seats, and the atmosphere is starting to build.
And the home team have been announced.
It looks like they've opted for 4-1-4-1 formation. This stable line is good for dominating the midfield.
Lookman.
Boylan now. That's a rash challenge there. Wins the aerial battle. And that was a foul all day long. Aha, quality defending there.
Well cut out.
He's darting forward.
Lovely passing here.
Wins the ball. He misjudged the pass. Buongiorno has the ball. He's taken back possession.
Lookman. Has a crack.
That sailed wide of the goal.
That first shot missed the goal. They'll have to sharpen up.
It's McTominay. A misplaced pass. They're moving the ball forward. He's clear and sprinting forward now. Oh, he's saved it.
The cross comes in.
Oh, not the best header there. Spinazzola. Their passing has been so accurate. He's charging down the wing. Will it go in?
What a chance!
Oh, that's just off target.
Oh, and dispossessed there.
Neres with the dribble.
Goal is set at half-time. Both teams need goals if they're going to win.
Won the ball. He steps up to steal the ball. The defender could be in trouble here.
Is this a goal?
Great tackle by Buongiorno. A no-nonsense challenge. This is a physical game, lots of tackles being made. Neres with the dribble. That wasn't a very good pass.
Oh, a chance now to turn defence into attack.
Oh, determined challenge. Oh, it's gone in. The manager thinks the time is right. He's urged these substitutes to make their mark.
And the crowd are well behind their team now they've got their goal. We're back underway.
Lang making his move. Bruno Fernandes.
He's got the goal in his sights. Well, he certainly made the goalkeeper work. He's unlucky not to score. Now, what can they conjure up from this set piece?
Out of the danger zone there. And it's back to the keeper. A close lead here, but can they hang on until full time?
Good interception.
He's in control. He's confident on the ball. Poor tackle there. He's kicked it upfield. Good defending. Good clean challenge.
And he's one-on-one with the keeper.
Milinkovic-Savic gets in the way. A headed effort, but well wide of the margin. They keep hammering the opposition in search of more goals.
He's knocked it long.
He's putting in a player of the match performance. The kick-off is just moments away.
The home team has gone.
Today they're lining up 5-2-1-2. They'll be looking to stall their opponent's attack and break away with ruthless efficiency. Camavinga in possession. Now Dumfries. Oh, that's well played. He's on the move. He's taken back possession.
Good interception.
Camavinga in possession. Cunna on the ball. He's waiting to pull the trigger. Here's a replay of that great goal. Intercepted. Doku, great run. Just the keeper to beat now.
Stunning save there.
He was so alert to the danger and reacted quickly. What a great save. Oh, he heads wide. That was so close to being a goal. Let's see it again. A determined tackle. Can anyone get on the end of this one? A wasted chance there, a poor cross.
That's nicely played.
What a ball.
And it's opened up here.
It's there, the equaliser. And it's level. Determined work from the player and his team to get them back into the game. Oh, we need to see that goal again.
Great understanding between this team. And this really takes the pressure off the defence.
This is Tavares. Zaccagni with the dribble.
Oh, a chance now to turn defence into attack.
Militao tackles. He's broken through, he's in the clear and going for goal. And it's there, Cunna. 2 goals today from this exciting player. An entertaining half finishes, it's 2-1, an open game, but one team did just enough to get ahead. A single change has been made. Will it have an effect? This is Tavares.
The referee very much in control of this game, and he hasn't had to show a card.
Guendouzi. Some really fluid passing on display. He's won the ball back. Has a crack. He just couldn't keep it down. Great pass. Free kick has been awarded. That's gone out for a throw-in. Well, the players are warming up on the touchline. Is it time for a change? They've got the lead, but to keep it, they're still going to need to have their composure. Cunna in possession. He's speeding ahead. Doku, great run. The referee calls play back for an offside. This team look eager for more goals, and it's looking likely they'll get... And that's his hat-trick. He's been unstoppable today. Let's take another look at it. Some great teamwork set up that goal. This is Tavares. There are signs of approval coming from the manager. His side have put in a good shift today. Cunna on the ball. He misjudged the pass. The defender regains possession, and now they're going to try and break. Hernandez with the tackle.
Oh, they're in cruise control now. The game is surely all wrapped up.
This is Doku. He's closing in on goal, but can he finish it? And it's there, Cunna. 4 goals for this player. He's unstoppable. The manager's hoping these substitutes will re-energise his flagging team. This is Tavares. Headed upfield. A neat finish. A goal from the substitute. Bringing him on was surely the right decision. The fans are in there. They're lining up in a 3. This 5-2-1-2 will try and wear down their opponents. It's ideal for counter-attacking football. And now it's Timber. Cunna in possession. He's won the ball back. Headed forward. Casemiro with a run.
Oh, and dispossessed there. And this really takes the pressure off the defence.
Good, clean challenge. It's opened up.
Stunning save there.
Just a single substitution here. What impact will he have? Long throw there.
He did well to win the ball back.
Gets the shot in. And the shot has gone wide. Delict tackles. Back to the keeper. Uses his strength to win the header. Fernandez running at pace.
Good interception.
That wasn't a very good pass. Oh, shocking challenge. And here it is, the first booking of the game.
That's a great ball in.
Gets the header in. What a chance. No trouble there for the assistant to raise his flag. He was clearly offside. Aha, quality defending there. An expert tackle. They've taken it down the wing. And that was a bullet header there. No chance for the keeper. So the first goal today. Great work from the player there. And he'll be hoping to get more. Damo with the ball. Bruno Fernandez. Wins the ball. So the whistle's gone, 1-0 so far, just a single goal, but the fans will be hoping to see more.
Well, I want to hang on to this lead and possibly try and add to it. Should be a really interesting second half.
A misplaced pass.
Well read.
Oh, confident defending. Now it's Mazarawi.
Oh, a chance now to turn defence into attack.
Martinez. He's trying to lift it over the keeper. He just couldn't keep it down. They keep hammering the opposition in search of more goals. Bruno Fernandez. Some strong tackles. It looks like it's going to be one of those physical games. He steps up to steal the ball. A long distance pass. What a tackle by Yoro.
Well cut out.
Martinez. It looks like they're going to win the game. A careless pass there. And it's back to the keeper. He's taken back possession. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the player of the match award. Oh, it's there! That's the goal which puts the result beyond doubt. He's scored a brace. Damo with the ball. Oh, that's a poor pass. Well, this formation has been popped. The home team has gone with a strong lineup here. Now Dumfries. He's racing ahead with the ball. Surely now. And he's done it. An early goal. Already we've got the game on our hands. Lookman. And he's clear of the defence, but can he finish it? It's Bruno Fernandez. And it's level. Determined work from the player and his team to get them back into the game. Pedro Gonçalves. Well, he showed his skill. He's on the move. He steps up to steal the ball. They're moving the ball forward. Now Dumfries. A strong tackle. Here's Silva with the ball.
Oh, well intercepted.
He's headed the ball forward.
Lovely passing here.
A misplaced pass. Fernandez running at pace.
And they could be in trouble here. All that's left is to beat the keeper.
And a goal from Martinez.
Oh, a thoroughly deserved lead. You just knew that was coming.
Jenny Kitamo. Great ball. Heads it on. An expert tackle.
Oh, there's an opening here.
It's Bruno Fernandez. He's scored a brace. Araujo with the ball. The first half is over, and what a spectacle it's been. At 3-1, one set of fans will certainly be the happier.
They're winning at the halfway stage. Can they see out the rest of the game?
Trincao in possession. It's Kitamo. He's won the ball back. He's taken back possession. That wasn't a very good pass. Trincao in possession. Safety first, back to the goalkeeper. He's clear and sprinting forward now. And Lukman scores.
Oh, he'll be pleased with that effort. It'll do his confidence the world of good.
And the players have finished celebrating and we're back underway. Araujo with the ball. Oh, yellow card. He'll be the first name in the ref's notebook. Some players are looking exhausted. These new subs will revive the team's energy levels.
Oh, a chance now to turn defence into attack.
Lukman making a move. The referee has to do something about it. That was a dreadful challenge. This team really are controlling the game.
The keeper glad to see that one go wide.
They keep hammering the opposition in search of more goals. Headed on. He comes forward with the ball. That's gone out for a throw-in. Dumfries tackles. And that clearance will lift the pressure. It's Cunna. He's charging down the wing. He's found an opening. And break away with ruthless efficiency. It's Mitchell. Now he's played it long. He's got the ball at his feet. Sarr with pace. He could be punished for that mistake.
Richards.
Cunna on the ball.
Passed well.
He's given the referee a decision to make here. That is a bad foul. A tame effort, the shot only finds the side of the net. Headed upfield.
Oh, this is crisp passing.
He's got the ball and is in full sprint. That wasn't a very good pass. The goal is beckoning.
Oh, how unlucky.
Oh, that's a nasty tackle. The player can't continue, so a new one's coming on. The team are looking so relaxed on the ball. Martinez. Here's the shot. He went for it, but missed the target. Munoz has the ball. Auburn wins the ball. Mateta's making a move. Will he go for glory?
Passing the ball really well.
Cunna on the ball. Wharton has it. They're moving the ball forward. Not much happened then in the first half. Will we see goals in the second? So, we're ready to go again for another 45 minutes. He's won the ball back. Poor attempt to win the ball. Is this a goal? It's Bruno Fernandes.
And he's put them in front here after some great play. Will they extend their lead further?
It's Mitchell. They're controlling the play with ease. Cunna in possession. And he's won it back for his team. He comes forward with the ball. Oh, that's a really hard challenge. It's a yellow card. No arguments there from the player. Good defending. What a chance. Oh, that was too high. They're winning, but they're still going for more goals. He's flicked it forward. They've won control of the ball. Good ball control. He's taken back possession.
Good interception.
Good defending.
Well read.
Not long left. Can they see out the result? Munoz has the ball. Oh, we've seen some big tackles today. Well timed then. Great defending. Poor distribution from the player. Nakwa with the tackle. A determined tackle. Oh, it's there! That's the goal which puts the result beyond doubt.
Oh, he'll be pleased with that effort. It'll do his confidence the world of good.
It's Mitchell. Looks like the opposition are still trying to get back into the game. He misjudged the pass. What a chance! Good goalkeeping. He needed to be alert. Ends are out in numbers.
And this is the 11. Now let's look at the away team. Good interception.
Dribbles with the ball. He's waiting to pull the trigger.
Stunning save there.
Hooks it forward. No trouble there for the assistant to raise his flag. He was clearly offside. Paulinho. Timber with the tackle.
And this really takes the pressure off the defence.
He's one-on-one now. Will we see a goal here? Off the woodwork, so close.
What an opportunity!
Pedro Porro. Kante. Van der Ven. Played back to the goalkeeper. Uses his head. He's confident on the ball. He wins the aerial duel. Completed the pass.
It's whipped into the box.
Here's his chance. Alisson, fantastic stop. Passed into the box. That was a bad pass. Oh, that pass could have been better. A strong tackle. He got that all wrong. He's broken through, he's in the clear and going for goal. And Lookman scores. That goal, his second of the match. The first 45 minutes are up, and one of these teams is firmly in control. It's 2-0. So, 45 minutes left. What will happen in the remainder of the game? He loves to run with the ball. Good defending.
Great understanding between this team.
Paulinho. Kulusevski, great run. He could be punished for that mistake. Can he get it on target? They've got the lead, but to keep it, they're still going to need to have their composure. Oh, easy decision here. It's a goal kick.
Well read.
Auburn wins the ball.
He's knocked it long. Well cut out.
Wins the aerial battle. Koldo Muani.
Oh, they're in cruise control now. The game is surely all wrapped up.
The board is up and new players coming on. Long throw. They want to add to their lead here.
Surely now.
The fans are demanding more goals. This could turn into a rout. They've won control of the ball. Lookman, great reflexes. He reacted to that long-distance shot.
Now he's weighing up his options.
Goal, the corner taker knew exactly who to target.
Great headed goal there. He really got behind that one and gave the goalkeeper absolutely no chance.
He's won the ball back. He dribbles the ball forward. We're into time added on now. He gets the Player of the Match award, fully deserved. He was unstoppable today.